Let's look at the last of the techniques. Now, obviously, there are a lot of other techniques which are available, and we have some amazing books in the description section below the video, which you can go through at your leisure to get more acquainted with the whole range of methods which are available to you. Let's look at the technique called look for the extremes. What are the extremes? Extremes are those fringe moments or the fringe people who we typically tend to ignore. But if you can focus on those and then design your product, service, or offering according to them, this can be a real game changer. For example, the movie industry. For the longest time, the movies did not have subtitles. So when these English movies were broadcasted to India through the Star Network, we had very, very few people who would understand or who would enjoy these movies. Most people would be enamored by the action or the thrill of these movies, but they wouldn't understand much of it because we were not conversant with English, let alone the American accent of English. Now, they thought that it would be a good idea to add subtitles. Who were the subtitles meant for? The subtitles were meant for the people who were hearing impaired, correct? But the moment I put the subtitles, what happens to the overall movie watching industry or the overall movie watching market? It grows because now almost everybody can read subtitles, and subtitles has become a part and parcel. For example, in this video also, you have the subtitles, right? Now, aren't subtitles helping you even if you can listen to me loud and clear? Yes, they're helping you. And this is what happened when you looked at the extreme users, added a feature for them, and this you brought to the mainstream market, and the mainstream market benefited from it. Similarly, the vibrations for your mobile phones. My earliest phone was basically a feature phone from Nokia. You remember the keypad phones, right? And one of the draws of that was this massive vibration it would have. The vibration was so huge that even if I leave it on the table, the whole thing will start making a lot of noise. Now, why did they put vibration features in the phone? The vibration features was not meant for the mainstream users. The vibration feature of the phone was meant for the fringe users who were visually impaired, those who cannot see the phone. Imagine I can't see my phone. How would I know the phone is ringing? In the olden days when we had the landline phones, if a person doesn't have any sight and the phone is ringing, or the person can't hear and the phone is ringing, how will I know? There's no way of knowing it. But in this, even if I can't see, right, I can, and even if I can't hear, for example, by the very sensation, I know the phone is ringing, correct? But did you benefit from that feature? Yes, of course. For example, when you put your phone on silent, you would still know that the phone is ringing because of the vibration of it. So once again, a feature meant for the extreme brought to the mainstream. Or let's look at Indigo for a moment. I love the Indigo Airlines because they're always looking out for avenues of continuous improvement, and one of the draws for them is the ramp. You know who the ramp was originally meant for? The ramp was originally meant for people who use wheelchairs, the elderly or the people with disabilities. But don't you and me find the ramp more convenient to drag our trolleys or to simply climb the stairs? Yes. Now, the Volvo buses, the cars, the phones, the glasses, and almost all the things that you see around yourself, they are designed in such a way that they are serving a very specific need of a fringe customer, okay, who may be too tall, too short, etc. And then you benefit as a mainstream customer because of those. Let's take an example of electric vehicle, okay? And let's list down what are the extreme things that can happen on electric vehicle, and then try to generate ideas that if that extreme thing happens, what can I do? Okay, ready? Okay, what are the extreme things that can happen to electric vehicle? The first is it can catch fire. In the middle of the highway, you can be out of battery. Maybe the battery gets overheated and the vehicle stops. Maybe the battery starts to leak and the acid or some of the harmful chemicals comes to your car. Maybe the battery is not interoperable. You list down these 5 and let us try to see that what ideas can I have. If the car catches fire while the passengers are in the car, can we have a mechanism where all the doors fling open? Just like what happens in the aircraft. The moment there is an oxygen level dip, what happens to all the oxygen masks? They just come down automatically, isn't it? You don't have to do anything, they just come down automatically. You just wear the oxygen masks. Similarly, if the car catches fire, automatically all the doors not only get unlocked, but just fling open. okay, and you can just exit. What if there is a mechanism where the car catches fire, or there is a small gas or small smoke or small smell that comes out, and the seat belts automatically get unlocked? Because in many car accidents, what we have seen is that people are unable to unlock their seat belts because the seat belts get jammed or the door gets jammed. All nowadays we have automatic locks for the door, which you can't simply open if the car is locked. Okay, and there is a small bend in the door, you can't open the door. What if, as a safety mechanism, your seat belts are automatically off the moment there is a fire? That's an idea. Okay, you can't cut the seat belts without a sharp knife. What if there is a mechanism where you can do something with your seat belts in the time of an emergency? Correct. Similarly, we talked about the battery is dead in the middle of the road. What if there is a mechanism that the car automatically takes you, the moment the battery is down, the car automatically takes you to the side of the road and makes an emergency call to the nearest patrolling person so that the battery is available to you? Like in olden days, we had the reserve in the scooters and bikes. What if there is a reserve mechanism where the battery is low, but it always keeps a reserve that it can reach to the nearest charging point? What if that is a possible idea? What if battery starts leaking and it damages the passengers or the interiors of the car? In that, the idea could be the possible shielding of the battery. Because in electric vehicles, the battery is at the bottom. There is a possibility that if the battery is really leaking and causing a lot of hazard, the lower plate can automatically open and the battery can just fall down on the road. There is a possibility like that. So this is a beautiful way in which you can think of some extreme situations where your product can be abused or used, and then you draw some inspiration sort of coming back. Let's take another example, which I have used in my book, Design Your Thinking. Suppose there is a car, okay, and I'm making a car, and the person who is a taxi driver drives. Now, most taxi drivers drive their cars for almost like 8, 9, 10 hours a day, and there are some erratic eating patterns, isn't it? They don't get to eat at the right time, at the right place, the right kind of food. They either eat in the middle of the night or in some odd hours on the side, and many of them have problems with diabetes. Okay, now, and they don't get to even exercise. What if you have a passenger who is diabetic? What design can you have in the car for a diabetic patient? Can you think of a car designed for a diabetic patient? It will be interesting, right? What if you design a car for a person who uses wheelchair? Now, you may have a seat which is swiveling seat of the car. So you take a car seat and the car seat swivels out like this, and the person can just simply get on and off, and once he is in, the car seat swivels back and you lock the seat and you can drive the car. Don't you think this kind of a mechanism will be handy for a pregnant woman, for an elderly, for an obese? Exactly. So you see, the moment I start thinking about some extreme scenarios of my product or service, I can already start conceiving ideas which can be very much a differentiator for me for the mainstream market, and which I think can be a very promising way of looking at attracting new customers. It's a fantastic technique to use. And as I said before, this is not the end of the line. There are a lot of other techniques which are available to you, but the intent of this video was to get you excited about the world of creativity and to bring home the point that creativity is indeed a skill. Nothing less, nothing more than a skill. And like any other skill, you can practice it, perfect it, teach it, and if you don't use it, you forget this. So that's a wrap up on the techniques of creative problem solving. And the next clip, we look at how do you shortlist the voluminous ideas which you have got into the most useful ideas. I hope this was useful. Thank you so much.